we go. Okay, Bill, thanks for coming on and talking to us about your campaign and the primary here and your run in newly created District 30 for the Senate here. If you would just go ahead and start off by telling us a little bit about yourself, your background, your personal life, and you as a candidate.
Well, you're right. Thanks so much for taking the time to meet with me. And we're out here on the campaign trail, and it's great just to take a break and chat with you about our campaign. Most proud of the fact that I'm a father of six, a lifelong resident of Prince William County. Started my career as a police officer here in Northern Virginia, well over 2 decades ago. And worked my way up as a detective investigating gang crimes, and then focusing my career on human trafficking and child exploitation task force. Worked alongside federal partners at the FBI and Homeland Security investigations, and then had an opportunity to go on to the U.S. Department of Justice and serve as Director of Human Trafficking Programs, and later Acting Director at the Office for Victims of Crime, and also served as Special Advisor to the White House for Human Trafficking and Child Exploitation. So it's been very thankful for the opportunities that I've had in the course of my career to really grow, learn, and dedicate my life's work to protecting the vulnerable in our communities.
Now, tell me a little bit about yourself. How old are you?
So I am 43 years old.
Very good. And family? Do you have? Are you married? Do you have children? What does that shape up to be?
Absolutely. So, father of six. My oldest just graduated Battlefield High School last night. So, very proud of him. And then children all the way down to the age of 7. So, very active household, very busy with the kids, which is always exciting. Married to a wonderful woman that really keeps the house moving forward. She is a nurse by trade, but a lot of her focus is supporting our children, raising them. We homeschool 5 of the 6, so that's where she spends a lot of her time. She's doing a fantastic job with it.
And how long have you been married?
20. You're making me think now. 22 years.
22. Very good. Congratulations on that. And your children range in ages from 7 to 18.
Almost 18. Give it 2 more weeks.
Good. Okay, very good. Well, congratulations on having the graduate. That's pretty impressive stuff. And then you live in Western. I assume you're where in I assume you're in Prince William County. Where in Prince William County do you live?
So in Gainesville, Western Prince William, yes.
And for how long have you lived there?
So I've lived in Gainesville for the past 21 years. So I've lived in this area for 21 years.
Very good. Well, I'm going to jump into some questions here. You are running, you have a primary candidate, and you are running against, if you are the nomination on June, if you are the nominee on June 20th, you will face Democrat Danica Rome, who has been in office representing that area. This is a newly created, obviously, seat, new district, but she's been a delegate representing the Manassas area, Western Prince William County area since 2017. She has been talking about data centers for the past 1.5 to 2 years. Much of the conversation on that part of the county is, of course, data centers and their effects on the area's rural crescent, on the area's water supply, on the views, viewshed of some people who look out their back deck and look directly into a data center. And so these data centers have become, while they're praised for the revenue that they bring in to the county coffers, they're also they've become very contentious and divisive between the people who want the data centers for more money for schools and roads and police, as they say, and those who want to, and the other side who wants to keep the rural crescent looking rural and preserving Northern Virginia's last open spaces. So where do you come down on the proliferation of data centers in Northern Virginia?
So you're right. I'm all about sustainable growth, right? I think that we do need a healthy balance between residential and commercial. I'm certainly in favor of efforts that will ultimately reduce personal property taxes and income taxes for individuals in the area. But I think that we need to have growth be very sustainable. I think that we should balance where the data centers are placed and make sure that we create those opportunities. Like you said, nobody wants to look out their back window and see a data center like the one going up over in Haymarket right now on 55 on Route 55. But I think that we also have to consider is we've been out knocking doors. We've heard a little bit about the data centers, but really what we've heard about is the increase in crime in our area and the fact that the biggest concern is the safety of families, the safety of children within our communities.
Violent crime in Prince William County up 70% since 2019. What will you do? And the spike in Prince William comes as as the department struggles to hire new officers. It's one of many departments across the U.S. that are struggling to retain and hire new officers. In the wake of the death of George Floyd in 2020, when it's been said it's never been a more difficult time to be a police officer in the United States. So if elected, what will you do to ensure that the law enforcement officers who want to serve can do so in Prince William County?
Well, you're right. As a former police officer myself and being third generation, my father and my grandfather before me served in law enforcement. I know the real risks that these women and men put themselves into every day to keep our communities safe. And I think that in the wake of the defund the police movement, what we have seen is a lack of support from leadership and elected officials. And we cannot ask these individuals to go into the community and do this job without making sure that they have the resources that they need, that they have competitive pay that are coming out of Richmond to make sure that they can do the job that they do. Last legislative session, there was a bill to reduce assault on a police officer from a felony to a misdemeanor. That shows the lack of respect that we have for our law enforcement officers within the streets. So if I go to Richmond, my pledge is to make sure that the laws are reflective of what the officers need to do the job to keep their communities safe. But I'd also look at other common sense solutions. Our governor right now is trying to get a budget passed through the Senate that would put 2,000 more police officers on the streets in the Commonwealth. But that budget's being blocked by the Senate right now. And it just doesn't make sense to me. Why, when we know that we need these officers, to your point, when we can't fill those roles, when there's efforts to be able to do that, why are Democrats blocking those efforts?
Are there so since 2020, there have been new legislation put forward to change law enforcement in Virginia, whether that means looking at qualified immunity for police officers, whether that means having a probable cause, suddenly now having a headlight out is no longer probable cause to stop somebody to question them. Are there certain things that you have seen in recent years passed by the General Assembly that you would roll back, change, or modify in terms of legislation you would put forward in the Senate?
So I think that we need to look at what the laws are, right? And one of the things that I've heard from various police officers, both from the officers on the street all the way up through command staff, those that are running sheriff's offices and police departments, is that Richmond is not talking to them. Richmond is not listening to what they need. And so one of the things that I pledge is to talk to the Prince William County Police Department, the Manassas City Police Department, Manassas Park, and then the Prince William County Sheriff's Office. I need to hear from them what are the tools and resources that they need to get the job done. Sometimes those are new laws, sometimes those are new tools and resources, but I think that we need to hear from those that are actually doing the job to understand better how they can effectively keep our communities safe.
I'm going to go back one more question about data centers because you were very good at changing the topic on me there, and that was very good. I like that. But I wanted to ask you about some of the battles that we saw during the General Assembly session this go round. We saw Senator Chat Peterson and Delegate Danica Rome sort of push legislation to require studies of water and environmental studies before a data center can go forward. And we saw pushback from the governor and his cabinet, the governor has been very clear. He wants more data centers in Virginia. So we saw the Republican governor and his administration line up with the Prince William County Board of County Supervisors, largely Democrats, who were working together to bring more data centers into Prince William County. Would you, however, if you're elected to the Senate, would you support requiring these environmental studies be done before a data center project is considered in your district?
Well, you're right. I think you point out a very key point, right? Looking at the legislation, was it really requiring the environmental studies be done before you break ground? I think, when we talk about solutions, they have to be common sense solutions that actually do something. I know Delegate Rome has spoken very passionately about the data centers, but I would ask Delegate Rome, why has she not talked to her Democratic colleagues on the Board of Supervisors in Prince William County and gotten them to see her point of view on this? I think that leaders in Richmond need to be working with their local governments to make sure that those views are reflected and that it needs to be a team effort.
Would you support something like Senator Chat Peterson put forward? Would you support a bill like that? Or are you still undecided whether or not you would want those studies done before a project is essentially underway?
Right. No, I do think we need to look at the data, and I do think we need to understand what's happening. I'd want to look at what research has already been done. I suspect that the state already has some research, and I don't want to be duplicative. There's no need to waste taxpayer dollars to do research that's already been done. But if we don't have the answers, then absolutely we need to find them.
I want to ask you about school choice and where you stand on that. There's been a lot of talk amongst lawmakers, especially since Glenn Youngkin took over the governorship in 22. He's made strides in getting lab schools going. He's also promised more push in the direction of charter schools. So where do you come down on school choice? Should the money follow the student, or should the money go to the school in which that student's supposed to attend?
So, listen, I think that the governor, kind of building off of what you were saying before, one of the big pieces of Governor Youngkin's agenda is to get Virginians into gainful employment. And I think that there's many different avenues to do that, whether that's university, whether that's lab schools, trade schools. And I support him wholeheartedly in creating educational choice for young people. But I think that also includes the ability to choose what type of education you want. As I mentioned, my oldest son just graduated from public high school. It was a fantastic experience for him. Very proud that Battlefield High School is one of the top 30 high schools in the Commonwealth of Virginia, and he received an amazing education. However, our other kids are being homeschooled, and that's been an extremely rewarding and enriching experience for them and for our family. We have seen them. We still have them take standardized testing. We've seen them consistently test at least 2 grade levels above where they're supposed to be. So I think there are different options for different people, and we need to make sure that families all across Virginia, but particularly here in District 30, have the ability to choose what's right for their family and for their children.
My last question before we go is when the voters have the choice here on the 20th that they haven't voted already, why are you the candidate for the Senate 30 District 30 seat? Why should they vote for you?
Yeah, well, thank you for that, Uriah. I'll tell you that I have dedicated my life for fighting for what is right. I've put myself out there and I work hard. And what I would tell the voters in District 30 is that no one will work harder, will fight harder for them to see their taxes lowered, to protect their rights, to be able to raise their families the way that they want to raise them, and to fight crime. It's very simple. If District 30 wants to be the district to win back the Senate for our governor, then they need to vote for Bill Woolf on June 20th.
Bill Woolf is the candidate for the Senate District 30 seat, newly created district in Western Prince William County. Bill, thanks for coming and talking with us today about your campaign.
Thanks so much, Ryer, for your time. Appreciate it.